Hey, welcome back to Mommy Reboot TV. I'm your host, Jody Agard. Okay, so if you have ever said the words, help, I'm drowning, you're my people. Because the truth is, I've said it numerous times, and today I want to talk about if you are feeling that way. I have 3 little tips and tricks that you can use to help you make you feel better, like right now. So when it comes to motherhood, I feel like it's overwhelming, and sometimes we do get in the space of just feeling like we are drowning. It doesn't matter what's on our plate or who's helping us. It can be this suffocating feeling of like, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what I do. I'm just falling behind and I'm falling ashore, and I don't seem like I can get ahead. And just feeling like, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter. And again, just feeling like this overwhelming feeling of suffocation, of holy crap, I don't know how I'm going to dig myself out of this. And depending on what season you are in your motherhood, for me, I know that I've been drowning in baby poo and diapers and messes and chasing toddlers just as much as I've also been drowning from finances and starting and creating a business, and also just the regular household messes. So it doesn't matter what season you're in, because I feel like this feeling of overwhelm and drowning can just carry on through any season that we're in when it comes to motherhood. But overall, I know it's this feeling of just feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And there's hope. So for me, and actually I just said this last week, by the way, to my husband, I said, oh my gosh, and for me where I am in this season, it's my business. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drowning in business to-dos. And as soon as I said the words, as soon as they came flying out of my mouth, I stopped. Because for me, I've also developed this as a part of my mental self-care, is to look at it as a red flag that kind of pops up that says, hey, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, mama. No, but seriously, it's a red flag that pops up and says, okay, what's the truth about this situation? Because when I do that, I pause for a second, and the truth is, honestly, when I really look at it, the truth is I'm not really drowning in business to-dos or household to-dos or whatever. The truth is that 9 times out of 10, I'm drowning in unrealistic expectations that I've put on myself. That's the truth. And so when I stop and just pause and can realize that, then I can utilize the tools and be like, okay, knowing that, what could I do about this situation? And that's kind of what I want to jump into, is I've got 3 little things. So the first is lighten your load. You just have to lighten your load. So for me, that means that I'm looking at my big long to-do list or whatever's on my plate and saying, what do I have to do? Like, what could I delegate to someone else, whether it's my husband or one of the kids or my assistant or a neighbor, I don't know, a friend, the person at the bus stop, the girl at the grocery store. No, I'm just kidding. So what that means is, like, sometimes I will literally just look at my master list, my to-do list, or whatever I've got on my plate, the business stuff or whatever, and I just whip out a piece of paper and I put the people's names that I can delegate to, and I start plopping in little things here and there. And even if I'm only able to divvy out like 3 things out of the cajillion, babillion things that I have on my plate, it's still a win. It still is lightening your load. So just figure out where you can lighten your load. Because the truth is, you don't have to do everything. And by the way, one of those columns might just be not right now. Like, is it really that important? So get clear. That's kind of what I do too, is I get clear on, okay, what are the 3 most important things I can do right now? Okay, number 2, I have them written down because I've got all kinds of things in my head. Micro task. So I know for me, when I'm feeling like suffocated and I'm drowning and holy moly, I can't get out of this hole that I'm in, I know that usually means that I am looking at the big picture. I'm looking at the cajillion, bajillion, blah, blah, blah things on my list, and it's feeling really overwhelming. And so you kind of have to peel it back and only look at what's most important right now. And actually, I think I just gave the first tip away, the second tip in the first tip. Whoops. Oh well, whatever. So when it comes to microtasking, just ask yourself, like, what is that one thing I need to do right now? Or what are the 3 things that I really need to do right now that I absolutely have to do today that will make me feel better and I can sleep better, and then let the rest go. Because here's a little funny thing about that. When you give yourself permission just to focus on, like, let's just say 3 things, it makes you feel better. And the reason is because you don't feel like you're so behind. You don't feel so weighed down because you feel accomplished. You're like, okay, all I got to do is bang out these 3 things. I can totally just do these 3 things and get them done. And then you feel lighter. And so then it makes you want to do more. And the cool thing is if you end up doing 3 extra things or 2 extra things beyond those 3 things, the priorities, great. But if you don't, hey, at least you got those 3 most important tasks done. So, micro task. Forget about the big picture right now. Like, the stuff that needs to be done tomorrow will be done tomorrow. But what needs to be done right now? If you're drowning, that's your life raft. Okay, and then the third, this is a big one. This one's going to feel really counterproductive, but take a time out. I know. Okay, so the reason why you want to take a time out and reboot yourself, which is why I'm calling this Mommy Reboot and why I've branded it called Mommy Reboot, is because it does just that. The minute that you can just take a step back from everything, from all the undone crap that's on your plate, all of the messes, all of the things that are making you feel like you're drowning, just push them aside for a minute and literally give yourself permission to take a 5-minute timeout, a 10-minute timeout, maybe even a 3-minute timeout. So maybe it looks like you're doing a 3-minute meditation, or maybe you take a 5-minute walk with the kids, or maybe you snuggle your pet for 2 minutes, or maybe you do a 10-minute meditation. Maybe you read for 10 minutes out of your favorite book that you've been trying to finish reading for the last year and a half while your kid naps. But no matter what the time is, it's going to be so much more effective. When you come out of that timeout, you are going to have the headspace to be able to look at the forest through the trees and be able to look at, okay, I'm out of the chaotic state of overwhelm. And when we're in that chaotic state of overwhelm, all it does is make us panicky. And if you really think about a person or a group of people who are panicking, like, what do you picture? You picture people just running all over the place and not really accomplishing anything at all. And here's how you know that you've been that way is if you've ever looked in your laundry room that's just piled with laundry, and you go in there to go fold some clothes, and then you just stand in the doorway and you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that right now. And you walk away. That's because you're in that overwhelming feeling and that panicky mode of like, oh my gosh, I cannot handle anything else on my plate. I'm just not going to deal with it. So you will become so much more effective. And so if your mind is saying like, I don't have time for that, Jody, like, yeah, no, I can't take a time out. Actually, you don't have time not to take a time out. And it's because that feeling of chaotic overwhelm is costing you. It's not only costing you your mood and your well-being and overall sense of overwhelm, it's also costing you time, because when you try to do a zillion different things at once, you can't be as effective. Whereas if you're in a calm state, you're chill, you're feeling like centered, like, yeah, you got a lot of things on your plate, but it's not super overwhelming, you will become so much more effective. So at the end of the day, you have to realize that that feeling like you're drowning, it's almost like your own little adult version of a temper tantrum. So you have to look at it as it's a cry for love. Like, you are needing something, and what you're probably needing is just a little bit of TLC, a little bit of grace, a little bit of slack for yourself. Like, gosh, woman, cut yourself some slack if you're feeling like you're drowning. I'm sure you're doing a good job, and just really check into the expectations you're putting on yourself, because I'm willing to bet that they're probably a little bit unrealistic. That's just my opinion. From personal experience, by the way. Okay, that's all I've got for now. I hope that helps you, and I hope you can relieve the feeling of feeling like you're drowning, because that's not fun for anybody. So be kind to yourself. You deserve it. And that is my little bit of self-care today. And as always, if you thought of that mama who is literally in the headspace of, oh my gosh, I'm drowning, please send her this video, introduce her to me, send her over the link. And or if you're not already a member of our private Mommy Reboot community, over in Facebook. We would absolutely love to have you. And invite your friend too. Okay, that's all I got for now. See you later.